Here we are in the rainy season in Nha Trang, and there is a tropical storm approaching, so it's a bit cooler and rainier than normal. The storm will probably arrive here maybe tonight or tomorrow morning. Um, this is not the typical weather we get. We probably only get days like this when there is a tropical storm somewhere in the area. So before too long, we may have sunny or partly sunny skies again. But at least for the next couple of days, we have fairly cool weather and pretty much clouds everywhere you look. And rain is coming off and on, sometimes quite heavy. Um, as far as the reopening of Vietnam, some of the reports I'd read, the plans were to reopen it to vaccinated foreign tourists in November or December, and the only thing fairly definite at the moment seems to be that Phu Quoc Island, which is, I think, off the shore of Cambodia, although it's actually part of Vietnam, uh, is pretty definitely going to reopen on November 20th. However, it's not going to be open to just everybody. So from Saturday, November 20, charter flights for international travelers with vaccine passports will be welcome to the island, the government said last week. After that, between late December and the end of March, the island aims to receive up to 5,000 foreign arrivals on similar charter flights. Visitors will need to show vaccine certificates together with a negative COVID-19 test results before being allowed in. This doesn't say specifically that they won't need to do any kind of quarantine. At present, when I looked at the consulate of the Vietnam consulate in New York's website, it said that as of August 4th, 2021, the Ministry of Health shortened the duration of concentrated medical quarantine of persons who already got 2 COVID-19 vaccinations to 6 to 7 days upon entry to Vietnam. And it required them to monitor their health in the next 7 days. So whether the Phu Quoc plan will still require the 7-day quarantine remains to be seen. There hasn't been a lot of detail given yet, even though that is only about 3 weeks away. Also, according to the authorities, people entering Phu Quoc should come from places with a high safety record on COVID-19 prevention, which includes, I believe, some parts of Europe, the Middle East, Northeast Asia, Southeast Asia, North America, and Australia. I don't know that there's been any specific list of countries offered yet that will be allowed, but it does seem pretty much like at the moment only charter flights will be allowed, and with the plan of just having 5,000 people enter between December and March, that doesn't mean a real major boost to the economy. Also, there are questions about whether people will be allowed to enter Phu Quoc, and after, say, 7 or 14 days, if they'll be able to travel to other parts of Vietnam. So it would be probably beneficial if the government came out with more specifics about what the Phu Quoc plan is before expecting many people to sign up for it. So anyway, the the thing is, it doesn't appear that you're going to be able to just get a visa, a tourist visa for Vietnam and enter, even if you've been fully vaccinated very soon. Uh, yeah, there is, I mean, it could happen relatively quickly, although if I were someone wanting to visit Southeast Asia this winter, uh, I'd probably be making my plans already since we're getting towards November. And Vietnam doesn't offer a lot of specifics about what is going to be required to enter, and actually even whether anyone will be allowed to enter Vietnam on a tourist visa. So I'm not going to try to recommend you go to other places, but I think a lot of tourists probably would look at the options of entering Vietnam now, say in December or January, uh, versus, say, the possibility of entering Thailand. And Thailand certainly has things much more organized and specifically laid out what you're going to need to enter the country. Um, so anyway, if your hopes were to enter Vietnam, you might want to check on what the possibilities are to enter via Phu Quoc. But there again, nothing too specific has been offered yet. Okay, anyway, here is more from an article I'm quoting from the nationalnews.com. It says, according to the state media, authorities also want to open popular destinations such as the UNESCO World Heritage Site, Ha Long Bay, and the ancient town of Hoi An to foreign travelers in November, but no clear plans have been outlined. I'd also heard that Nha Trang and Da Nang had been hoping to reopen in either November or December, but again, nothing has been confirmed yet, and no specifics have been given. And at least as of today, when I looked at the U.S., the New York Vietnam consulate website, it did indicate that one would still need to do 7 days of quarantine in some kind of a facility if he or she were going to enter Vietnam. So still could be a ways before Vietnam is going to be offering entrance to many tourists. The COVID situation here, it's staying fairly stable. I think the country is getting between 3,000 and not quite 4,000 new cases of COVID per day in the entire country of almost 100 million people. The vaccination rate is still pretty low for people being fully vaccinated. I think maybe Ho Chi Minh City and some other places, Hanoi, possibly have a much higher percentage of fully vaccinated people. The rest of the country is far from even having people having received one shot completely. I believe Can Hoa province, where Nha Trang is, has offered a first shot to nearly all adults 18 and up. Not that everybody took them, because some people maybe didn't want to accept whatever vaccine was offered that day, such as Sinopharm, and were holding out to get AstraZeneca or Pfizer or something like that. So, the plan is, the hope is that in the fourth quarter now that more and more people will get vaccinated, and that is pretty much the the requirement to reopen the country to tourism, to foreign tourism, is that they get, at least in the tourist areas, maybe 70 or 80% of the adult population fully vaccinated before they're going to welcome tourists. And so that could be one of the problems with Phu Quoc reopening is, will they actually achieve that level of vaccination there? Will they be able to get 70, 80% of the adult population vaccinated before November 20th, and hopefully 2 weeks before November 20th, so that people can have built up immunity by then. So I guess I would just say that if you're still hoping to come to Vietnam this winter, maybe your best bet is to look to see if you can find any information specifically to the requirements for getting into Phu Quoc. And keep your eye on your embassy site. Unfortunately, a lot of the news stories that pop up on the internet are more wishful thinking than actual policy. Anyway, hopefully Vietnam will be allowing more foreign tourists in. It would certainly help the economy, especially the many hotels that have been pretty much empty, and the people who work in tourism-related industries. And hopefully that's going to happen sometime in December or in the new year, at least in certain places.